Ready or not, here I come. I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Why am I so tired? I don't know. So much going on. The heat, a million websites, starting new courses, creating stuff. Just nuts, crazy. I don't know where to start. I guess I could start with this, couldn't I? I could start with this. This show is the, actually, what did I call it? I called it the Infinite Creativity SABSANG with Sab in Paris. Infinite because our possibilities are infinite. Creativity because I'm all about creativity, me creating stuff and helping you create stuff and celebrating your stuff. And SABSANG because, well, a SABSANG is where we get together and Sab gives you stuff to talk about and we talk about it. So that's why, you see, that's why it's the Infinite Creativity SABSANG. And I'm Sab in Paris. And I've been in Paris for half my life. So over 25 years now. And actually, it was my birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear me. Happy birthday to me. And I was 55, the big 5-5. How about that? And I'll tell you about that later as well. If you'd like to leave comments, then please do. I need comments, you see, because otherwise I'm just talking to myself. So if you want to leave comments and questions. So I wrote this thing here. It says creativity questions in the comments, please. So below where you're watching this video, there should be a place where you can leave comments. And leave comments, please. But only if you're watching on my profile, my Facebook profile, which is facebook.com/SabParis, or if you're in the Infinite Creativity Now group, which looks something like this. So you should either be on this. You should, hang on. Whoa. Oh my God, what's going on? So you should either be watching me on my profile. I've got so many windows open that everything's gone on strike. Now it's gone off to some friend that I clicked. I don't even know who she is. So you should be watching me on this, Infinite Creativity Now in the group. And I'm live there, hopefully. Let's see if I'm live. Am I live? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. I'm not live. I'm not live. And I should also be live on my profile here. So then if you ask questions or comments in those places, you should be able to see me. I'm still looking. There I am, you see? It says there's 2 people watching. Hello, 2 people. Who are you? Say hello. And it says, I've got a comment saying, 𝗏𝗏 says, hello, Sab. Hey, this is good news. I've got one person watching. If you're the other person, say hello. Don't leave 𝗏𝗏 on her own. 𝗏𝗏 says, I'm back from my holidays. Took some great photos. How's life with you? Wow, let us see them. 𝗏𝗏, let us see them. How can I see them? Give me a link somewhere and I'll try and get them on the show. Maybe you haven't put them on your thing yet. And yes, that's what 𝗏𝗏 says. How's life with me? Well, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show about 3 minutes ago, but I started by saying I'm tired. There's so much going on. There's the heat. There's a million web pages to be looked after. There's groups. There's stuff to create. There's birthdays. There's lots of stuff. And so it's great. Chris is saying hello. Hello, Chris. Crazy Chris. No, I mean, no. Chris was my friend of the day. I've got this new thing here, and you could take part if you like. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. So this was my photo of the day today. 32. It's going to be random, folks. Just give me questions and give me comments. Otherwise, it'll just be random all the way. I've got this project, and it's from a long time ago. And the idea is to walk around Paris, getting interesting Paris house numbers, or they don't really have many houses in Paris. They do. This is a house, for example. But anyway, so I'll call them house numbers. All interesting house numbers on my fetish number, which is 9 times 9, 81. So I'm looking for really unique, original house numbers from the numbers 1 to number 81. I did this project. I started this before, and it was going to be from 1 to 100, but I kind of dropped it. But I think 1 to 81, 9 times 9, it's cool. So here's 32. Normally, numbers in Paris are these little plaques. I won't say boring, because I love Paris. I love the Paris plaques. But they're normally a white number on a blue plaque. Yeah, nothing spectacular. But every now and then, in some of those secret areas in Paris, you find really interesting ones. For example, this is in the 13th arrondissement. You know, it's not out of Paris pretending to be Paris. This is Paris, and you get houses with little gardens with railings and funky numbers. And I've got two for the price of one here, 32, 32, and they're both pretty. So I've got that. That number's fine. I just need the other 80. I've got a few others, but I would have liked to have had one for 55, which is my birthday, because it was my birthday yesterday, you know, but I didn't have it. And Despina says, how did you celebrate your birthday? Despina, I normally don't celebrate my birthday. I'm a very retiring, shy, reserved type of person. And normally my birthday passes without a hitch because no one knows it's my birthday. And I kind of sort of mope in my, you know, self-imposed misery of anonymity, because I don't tell anyone. So nobody knows. So nobody says happy birthday. And I think, see, I told you. Nobody cares about me. New mug, by the way, a heart mug. Chris, wake up. It's a heart mug. I dedicate this to you. And I was about to tell you before I rudely interrupted myself that I've got this new system. It's not a system, but it's a new thing. And the idea is to create more beautiful connectivity and love around the world. And you know all those Facebook friends that you don't know? Well, I thought I would do a new feature, and I don't know if you can see it. It's here. That thing I just highlighted. And it says, fun friend of the day. Today's When Lady Eiffel Smiles is dedicated to Chris. Are you there? Chris, come in, Chris. A great sport and fab photographer, creator of the Hidden Hearts initiative. So in honor of Chris being my fab friend of the day, and don't worry if you haven't been it yet, you know, I can't do everybody at the same time. So today it's Chris, and there you go. There's your not so hidden hearts in honor of you being my fab friend of the day. And I reckon I'm going to actually maybe get some new friends by doing this, because, you know, you accept people sometimes, but you don't really know who they are. Or you have friends, but you're never in touch with them. So if you do something every day, you know, you could highlight a fab friend of the day and actually maybe get in touch with your friends again. So that was my thing there. And this was the text that went with it. I can read it to you if you like. If this had been 55, I could have published it yesterday for that birthday, because, you know, it was my birthday yesterday, but it isn't, and I didn't. So let's enjoy it for what it is. A splendid addition to my fancy Paris street numbers from 1 to 81. The double 32 would have been cool if I just turned 64, but that also wasn't the case. I will be on the lookout for a pretty pair of 5s this year, though. So let me know if you find one. We're in a curious little back road in the 13th, by the way, full of identical chocolate box houses. Ah, the 13th. Now there's an arrondissement you can count on for its high quality streets, which is a joke. Yeah, so that was today's. You see, I don't always talk about deep and meaningful stuff, do I? So yeah, so it was Chris. Thanks, Chris. Lovely to have you as one of my friends. And that's me live there, you see, so I am live. Oof. I've got Yaruska is saying bonsoir, Sab. Bonsoir, Yaruska. Comment vas-tu? J'espère que tout va bien. Là, au Pérou. Todo va bien en Peru. I don't know if that's Spanish or not. Chris says, sorry, I'm back. Had to post a pic in ha ha ha, which I guess is Hidden Hearts Abound. Is it something like that? Hidden Hearts Abound, which is Chris's group. Okay, yeah, no problem. You don't have to hang around for the whole thing. You know, just popping in and saying hello really makes my day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I've got this plan for the show. And the plan is that I go through my weekly creative ideas in my newsletter. And that will spark any chat that comes, and then it'll be a whole load of other stuff. I could show you my photos of the week there. You see, I think this was this week. Was that this week? Yeah, I think those were the last ones that I did in my photos. And of course, there's the texts that go with them. And if you're interested in words, I do those too. And of course, there's your stuff. So in the Infinite Creativity Now stuff, I mean, you guys are starting to contribute, and it's amazing. Look at this. I've discovered this wonderful artist called Kirsten, who has just joined my Today's the Day group, I think, and the Infinite Creativity Now. She does these amazing things, just mind-blowing. And she says she's not a professional. She does it for fun. She doesn't sell her stuff. Wonderful. So she's really, I sort of gave her the green light because she was a bit nervous about posting a lot of stuff in Infinite Creativity Now. But I said, no, go for it. Anything creative, of course. Look at this. She's just contributed this. She says, today I want to share 2 from a set of 4 altered playing cards. What she does is she gets playing cards. You can see they used to be playing cards, and she paints on them. I don't think you can see any of the playing card through it, actually. Usually I do 4 of them picking up the same theme. In this case, it's about home and homesickness. If you go close up, you can see the playing card design show through. She's answering my question. I love that. And I always love to use up leftovers and scraps from other projects. Have a nice Sunday all. Yeah, that is absolutely superb. I'm looking for the, look up there in the top right, it says Joker. And maybe if you look closely, you can see, I can see another little symbol there or 2. And funnily enough, maybe because of that, I bought this the other day. It cost me it cost me about €1.50. And guess what I'm going to do with them? You might think I'm going to play cards. I will play cards with them. You see their standard, get rid of that. They're standard, really, really cheap playing cards, but they're cheap and cheerful. And they're French, you see. It doesn't say, hang on. It doesn't say who's good at French? What's this? Well, it's the, oh God, knave. Is it knave? Wait, king, queen. I can't even remember what it is in English. I think it's the knave. And in French, it's the valet. It's not the joker, is it? The jack. Oh, for God's sake, it's the jack. In French, it's the valet. In English, it's the queen. Oof. And in French, it's dame. And in English, it's the king, of course. And in French, it's the roi, le roi. So what I'm going to do is, maybe actually being influenced by Kirsten, is I'm going to chop these up and put bits of them in my paintings. So that will be yet another layer of intrigue to look for in my puzzle paintings. So you see how these things go around. I always say that one of my mottos is learn, create, share, but it's a cycle. So the next one after share is learn, create, share, learn, create, share. So for example, I created this group. I created the Infinite Creativity Now group. Kirsten joined. She contributed art. So she created and she contributed her stuff. I'm now learning from her and getting ideas which will go into my paintings. So it's this beautiful cycle, and I encourage you to be part of it. I've got Yeruska saying, "Ça va, merci." Okay, yeah, I think about you a lot, Yeruska. I hope you're okay there in Peru. I hear this, stories about people not being very safe with the masks, and it's the same in France, to be honest. And Chris says, "Jack, yeah, God, it took me a while, What was I thinking?" And valet in French, well done, Despina. Excellent French speaker, apparently. I've never spoken. In Greek, we say valet too. Do you really? That's strange. And yeah, you guessed it. So I'm going to, not a lot. I'm going to put a little corner, like, for example, a little corner, and I will add this to my puzzle paintings for yet another little bit of intrigue. Despina says, the minute you said cut them for your paintings, I was typing it in. Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't too difficult to guess. I'm trying not to have too many things. So I might just have a little like this, just this corner, somewhere hidden in the painting, and you have to find it. So I hope you agree that this is just stunning, really amazing work. So she's going to inspire me you know, I'm looking at some of her stuff and Kirsten's stuff, and I'm thinking, how did she do that? You know, I'm just going to zoom through to get another one of hers and see what happened, and just to tell you what I mean. This one, for example, these two, look at these, look at this. The colors are just so amazing on the face. She said she put sticky tape on to get this interesting effect here, which actually, it gives you the hard lines on the edge. I don't know how she's done that, probably through running paint on it, and then it dries and it's darker there. But look at the colors, look at the way the colors come through and shine, and the eyes are so beautiful and dark, and it's just amazing. And it's so rough as well. You know, there's bits of it where it's really rough, and there's bits where it's really sophisticated. You can see she knows how to draw or paint, and she also knows how to leave it looking rough. Look at the hair, it's quite rough. It's hardly colored in at all. And this is what I mean in sometimes when I talk about the 3 stages of mastery, which I talked about in my smartphone photography masterclass. The 3 stages of mastery, as I imagine them, are: you haven't got a clue what you're doing, so you go out there and have a go. The second stage is you realize you want to know more, and you start to look around for courses, and you learn the rules. And you learn the rules, and you get really good and technically amazing and, you know, competent. But it's kind of lacking something. It's lacking a bit of soul, especially when someone looks at it and says, ah, I see you applied the, you know, such and such rule, or they call you a technically brilliant artist. I would never want to be called a technically brilliant artist. So the third thing is, once you've gone out and had a go, not knowing, having a clue, then you learn the rules to get really technically proficient. And the third stage of mastery, which for me is the stage I would love to attain, is when you learn to break the rules. But the thing is, you have to have gone through the learning of the rules to be able to break them. Otherwise you're still doing any old thing, like in the first stage. So it's like a cycle as well. In the third stage, you come back to doing any old thing. You're spontaneous, you're not thinking about rules and stuff, but you've got all of that behind you. And then that for me is when real brilliance starts to come through. So what I mean, why I'm saying that is, it looks to me like Kirsten has learned how to paint, because this is a face not like I could ever paint, you know, or that I would ever have the patience to learn to paint a face like that. It's not just a face, you know, there's subtle shading and highlights on the nose, so it looks like a nose, you know, and that's what I don't have the patience to do. But then she knows when to make it look rough and ready. It's just brilliant, just brilliant. Like here on the eyelid, you see on this eyelid here, on the left eyelid as we're looking at it, there's a slight highlight on the left eyelid, and you can even see the eyelashes over the highlight, which shows that it's coming out closer to us and reflecting the light, and it's darker on the bits away from there. You know, I mean, it's just wonderful. So anyway, my idea is to go through my weekly newsletter and see what happens. Yeah, so you can always comment at any time, ask questions at any time. It's very, very welcome, and I'll pop over to different groups to show you stuff and things like that. Okay, so let me just get rid of the this creativity comments in the questions in the comments in the questions. And Chris Bush is saying off with their heads. Yeah, she was always a nasty one. I always knew there was something not, you know, completely right about Chris. A mean streak, I think, is what I always felt, really. You've been watching, listening, reading too much Alice in Wonderland. You should interview her. Who? The Queen of Hearts? Oh, Kirsten. Thank you. Great idea. I will. She will be a guest if she says yes. You see? Beautiful, beautiful ideas. I was thinking, who could I interview next as a creative person? So if any of you guys have a creative streak and you want to be interviewed by me, or it was a chat, you know, interview chat on your creativity, especially if you have a particular thing you love creating. I'm not really interested. I mean, I'm interested in talking to people, but what I want for my interviews show, which is called Infinite Creativity Chat or something, is people who are passionate about creating a particular thing. so that we could talk about that for a half an hour or so and then have interactions. So if you're a photographer, you love taking photographs, or you love painting, or you love creating anything really, but something we can sort of, hold on to, as opposed to someone who loves creating businesses. There's some wonderful podcasts and shows for that. This isn't one of them. Mine is about people who create things that you can grab hold of and say, oh my God, look at those colors. Or music, it doesn't matter, but just something kind of solid. So thanks for that, Despina. Yeah, I love Kirsten's work. Isn't it wonderful, Michelle? Michelle, hi, how are you doing? Lovely to have you here. Okay, so this is Sunday's Infinite Creativity newsletter. And if you don't get the newsletter yet, that's not it. That was going to be a clever, flick up of the newsletter thing, and it didn't work. If you don't get it yet, you must get it. Honestly, please. If you're interested in creativity in any way whatsoever, you have to get this newsletter. That's me being all sort of markety and positive and dynamic, and having no doubt in my mind that this will be the best thing you've ever read in your entire life, and possibly longer. So anyway, no, get my newsletter because it's cool, and I give you a creativity ponder each day. So you go here, you go to infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter, and you get I'm going to show you what you get. You get this. So on Sunday, there's nothing to do. Look, I'll read it for you to prove it. It says, hey, Sab Contact, that would actually be your name there. Hey, thanks so much for reading, creating, and sharing this week. I hope it was useful for you. Relax, there's nothing to do. It's Sunday. The infinitely creative universe has got you. But you can join me for this show, which if you're watching it, you are, and you did. I can't resist putting in something new, though. And at the moment, it's a new creative meme. I like this one. It was kind of, what happens if I click here? If I click here, I think it will go here. So I won't click, I will go here. Yeah, and this was my meme. So the idea with my newsletter is it's not just a newsletter you read or more likely don't read. You click and you go over to the group, the Infinite Creativity Now group, and you get involved. I'm not interested in a one-way flow of stuff. It has to be two ways. Please make it two ways. Anything I put out there is for you to interact with and to encourage you to put stuff out there as well. So this was my rather reflective birthday meme, because it was my birthday yesterday. I don't know if you knew, but it was my birthday yesterday, and I don't normally do birthdays, but for some reason 2020 seems a bit different. I don't know about you guys. What about you guys? At the beginning of 2020, I thought, yes, 2020, it's a kind of funky number. And I thought, this is it, 2020, it's going to be my year. Maybe it's going to be everybody's year. And then along came the virus, and everyone was saying, oh, God, what a year. Let's forget 2020, The sooner it's over, the better. And I thought that was a bit of a shame, especially considering creativity and positivity comes from within us, not from outside. So you choose how you react to stuff. If you want to look at it that way, you choose how to react to stuff, even bad stuff. We still are, if we don't feel that we're in control of the way we react to things at all, then we might as well give up anything and everything and just let life do us, So I don't want to believe that. So I felt it was a bit of a shame when people were saying, well, the sooner the 2020 is over, the better. It's a bit like saying the sooner today's over, the better. You've only got today. That's why I created a group called Today's the Day. We've only got today. So we've only got one 2020. So let's not look at it negatively. Let's see what we can do with it anyway. So this came out of those thoughts. And I wrote, shining gold and rust go hand in hand. When your old life bites the dust, a new one rises from the land. This is on top of one of my favorite places in Paris. It's called the I Love You wall. It's a wall that's covered in about I love you written in about 150 different languages, and by an artist I know, the lady up there who has accompanied me through all of my Paris life. Can you believe it? And this speech bubble, which, can you remember, if you've already seen this, what does the speech bubble say in English? Well, in French, it's aimer, c'est du désordre, alors aimons, which means to love is like disorder, create chaos. So let's love, you know. I like that. It might be chaotic loving, but so let's love. Let's have some chaos in our lives. And yeah, and this thing went with it. Shining gold and rust go hand in hand. When your old life bites the dust, a new one rises from the land. And funnily enough, at the same time as I published this, out of the corner of my eye, a new post came up from someone else, and it was about inviting me to a group, I think, called something like The Phoenix Rises or something like that, which is similar. And I was watching Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets with my son yesterday. And of course, well, I don't know, of course, there's a phoenix in there, which actually goes into the dust at one point in the film and rises up immediately again. So this is pretty cool, isn't it? I don't look at things as being ends of things without also looking at them as being beginnings, even in the most difficult cases to accept, where someone leaves us. Well, you know, don't forget that people are being born as well. You know, someone leaves us, but you might not immediately see someone being born, but when someone is born, someone doesn't automatically die either, but it's kind of the cycle of life. And often when people do leave us, or when people are born, they stimulate things in us which bring things into being, maybe a poem or an action, which wouldn't have happened otherwise. So there's always that. And that's what I liked in these words. A bit like, I don't think I have it with me, but you know, I went collecting. I go on the Petite Ceinture, which is an old railway that goes around Paris. It's defunct now, but it's still there, and they're turning bits of it into really nice walkways. But they're leaving one of the railway lines there, and in between you've got the sleepers, which are crumbling. And I have taken bits of the sleeper, and I'm going to put them into. It's another thing like these that I'm going to put into my paintings. A little sliver of the sleeper, which is going to go across a couple of the squares. And there you go. You see, my son is very sad that the old Paris ring line doesn't exist anymore, and so am I. Actually, we'll never see a train going round it now. But this is a way of perpetuating it. From that, I'm taking a bit of the sleeper, and it's going into my paintings. It's a bit like I put the jigsaw pieces into my paintings. Jigsaw pieces which have been used already by someone. They've already had a life. And I put them in my paintings, which themselves are like jigsaws in a way. They can be put together in any way you like. And the jigsaw pieces now have a new life in another type of puzzle. If you look at that, it's a picture of one of my paintings. You can see the jigsaw puzzle there, you see? You can see the piece of the jigsaw there. Leading a second life. The old rascal. So there you go. When your old life bites the dust, a new one rises from the land. No less. That's all I do for the Sunday one. It's very easy. I just say, relax, it's Sunday, do what you like. You can join me for this if you like and get inspired, share your creativity, and I give you another creative thing to look at. And we've got some more comments. Oh, this is so nice to have comments. So Michelle said, I love Kirsten's work. So that's wonderful. I'm going to tell her if she doesn't know that we're live here. How about writing? Okay, in relation to, how about writing? How about writing? Well, okay. If you want, do I interview people who write as a creative outlet? Of course I do. Michelle, I write every day. So for me, that's absolutely the sort of person I want. If you've written anything, if you write regularly, if you've written a book, if you know, it doesn't have to be anything like a New York Times bestseller. In fact, to be honest, I want to kind of avoid that. Those people have been interviewed so often, and you know, I'm not saying they'd be blasé or anything, but I'd love someone who is deeply in the sort of the excitement of producing stuff. They haven't done it all before, been interviewed 100 or 1,000 times. I'm looking for people who are fresh and excited to talk about their work. Even if they're coaches, because I know a lot of coaches, I want coaches who create. They're not just happy telling other people how to lead great lives or helping them to lead great lives. They themselves have a passion, which isn't just coaching. So the two I've created already, the two people I've interviewed already are coaches, but they paint. Sandra Koenig, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, and Nina Lockwood. They're both artists. They paint. They've got this passion. They have to let it out. They can't not let it out. That's what I want. So if you write, then you can be a guest on my show. We created so much magic during the lockdown masterclass. Yeah. 2020 is great for people who took the time to reflect, whatever that means for any one of us. I think, yeah, reflective people are not the sort, artistic people, I don't think they're really the sort to sort of cross 2020 off and think, oh, well, never mind, better luck next year. Let's hope next year's a good one. I don't think we tend to feel that way, because we tend to feel more responsible for how we react to things. You're not getting all romantic, are you? Me getting all romantic? Never. Not interested. Silly hearts you find all over the place? Not my thing. Sloppy poetry? Forget it. What are you talking about? I'm writing a series called Unashamedly Michelle. I've seen them, Michelle, and I think you post them in some places in our groups. They are short pieces, but they flow out of me so naturally. Well, Michelle, don't tempt me. Well, actually do tempt me. That's Karen. All right, let's honor Karen quickly, and then we'll see what Michelle's been up to. Sorry, I'll lose you, Michelle, for a second. This is from a friend, Karen, who's an internet friend, photographer and artist. Look, I was told to sit down low and see something from that perspective. This is great. This is exactly the sort of thing I do on my photography masterclass, my writing masterclass, and my creativity masterclass. And I'm doing Paris retreats next year. So book your Paris retreat now on any of those 3 topics. There will be a transformational element to them. One will be based around seeing transformations in your life through photography. One will be seeing transformations in your life, or seeing life more clearly, through writing, all with Paris as a woven in. It's not just a backdrop, it's woven in to the retreat. And the third one, which will actually be the first one, will be not based on a particular artistic passion, such as photography or writing. It'll be more purely personal transformation in our lives. Why am I saying that? Yeah, because this is a great exercise to see things from an unusual angle. And Despina knows we did that, and Chris did that in the photography masterclass. And of course, metaphorically, you can see your life from a different angle. So she says, I chose to look at the fairy door my hubby created. Not quite sure how your hubby created it. Did he paint the fairy door and you painted around it, or just want to get rid of this banner thing? Just getting rid of the banner. I have to make this smaller, actually, this creativity SABSANG. It's a bit imposing. So either he created it, the door, and you painted around it, or he literally created a fairy door. I discovered my flowering crab tree has limbs that appear much more tangled from that angle. Okay, maybe he created, tell us, did he create a real fairy door in a tree in your garden? And do real fairies use it? This is important. This is lovely. It's a lovely drawing. It reminds me of something whimsical from something like, I don't know, Alice in Wonderland or Winnie the Pooh or something like that. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. It really reminds me of the Winnie the Pooh things when they were colored in. Because originally, I think they were in black. Was it E.H. Shepard or something? A. Milne and E.H. Shepard. God, you know, it goes with the people who have read Winnie the Pooh. They're kind of encrusted on our eyeballs. It's probably not E.H. Anyway, yeah. And when they coloured in the Winnie the Pooh things, the Disney ones, I'm not such a fan. They kind of Disneyfy it. But yeah, that's nice. Or maybe it's the Little Prince I'm thinking of. Just a lovely, whimsical, magical feel to it. Beautiful, Karen. Anyway, I was looking to find something from Michelle. I'm not sure if you've posted it here, Michelle. Maybe it was in the Today's the Day group. All these wonderful ones. Michelle says, Michelle, you're a wonderful encourager. And I'm looking for your thing. I don't know where it is. Okay, maybe it's in Today's Today group. Look for Today's Today. So Michelle says she's writing a series called Unashamedly Michelle. Short pieces, but they flow out of me so naturally. And Michelle says, yes, Winnie the Pooh, it looks like a tree from there. Yeah, doesn't it? What were the things they had? They had back soon, gone now, back soon, or something like that. What was the other one? Something, will something. Messrs. Will something or other. Okay, so this is Today's the Day. Oh my goodness, how am I ever going to find something from Michelle here? I guess I could look for you. I know this sounds a bit like I'm stalking you, but there's not going to be another way to do it. Michelle. 1L or 2? You like 1L or 2 in your cup of Michelle? 5 recent posts. We're getting there. Commented, liked your post. This isn't what I'm looking for. I had a huge insight into pain and thought. I don't know if you want me to share that. Oh, good grief. This is, sorry, you just haven't posted it in your group. Well, there you go, you see. Post something in my group, in the Today's Today group, or in the Infinite Creativity Now group, Michelle, and I'll find it, okay? All right, so let's go back to this. So I've got this one as a Sunday, nothing much happening. Well, of course, there's something happening. And this is the this is the Saturday one. And the Saturday one brings together the others. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each one in turn. All right, so this was Monday. Any thoughts that come to you, please let me know what you think. Give me your comments, questions. Do you choose creativity or spirituality? And this came from a question I saw in a group, which was about some guy asking something like, when I'm feeling love, is it true love, or am I just feeling thought taking form in the moment? It was something like this. And basically his question seemed to me like, should we look at love as love, something mystical that we shouldn't analyze, or should we just consider it as some sort of thought form taking form in the moment, and it's all just sort of chemical reactions? He didn't actually say that, but something like that. And I thought, I didn't really, the question didn't do much for me, because it was like it's either one or the other. Anyway, I went on to into some ramble about that, but I don't have it here. Well, I have something. Do you choose creativity or spirituality? What do you think? Let me know. For me, oh God, I think I've got this all wrong. This isn't at all about what I just told you. Somebody asked me a question. I think it was in one of my interviews that I did with Nina. She said, how do you equate creativity with spirituality? And I gave an answer along the lines of, for me, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. As being creative and really in the zone is as close to spirituality as I get. So what did I write? I wrote, for me, the question's wrong. I'd replace or with and. In other words, do you choose creativity and spirituality? And I'd reply, yes. For me, creating stuff is about as close to heaven as I get. Walking in the woods also offers peaks, mind you. I should add that sharing what I create is part of the process. Without human connection, what is there after all? Get spiritual, get creative, get your artist's cap on, and put a feather in it. So that was my little thing there. Hang on, I haven't posted in your group. Chris says, I like the newsletter format with upcoming dates. Yeah, that's at the bottom here, you see. Upcoming dates for the things that are coming up soon. And to be honest, I don't have much more to say on that. Otherwise, I'd just be rambling. For me, I mean, you know, what is spirituality anyway? That's a little question for you. Some people try to get it through organized events and such like, including, you know, organized religious type things. I was in a church today, for example, I was doing a little tour, and someone told me that there was a church near here, which she hadn't visited before. She'd always wanted to. So off we went. And there was actually a huge event. It was a tiny village with a huge church thing. We're wondering why there's so many people in a tiny little village on a Sunday. Are they that religious here that people come from all over France? But in fact, it was they said that the village was almost a sort of byproduct of this huge church, which was on a pilgrimage route. So great, that was why. And so some people go into churches, and to be honest, I can feel quite spiritual in a church, but I don't necessarily equate the two, especially the stuff which sometimes goes along with it, which isn't so convincing or spiritual. But sometimes it is, or if that's your thing, then that's your thing. But for me, I feel quite spiritual. In other words, at one with the universe. I don't know what your definition of it is. What is your definition of spiritual? I feel at one with the universe when I'm either in the universe without too many sort of modern stuff, like in a wood, for example. I feel quite close to nature and the universe and connected. And otherwise, when I'm creating stuff, I feel quite close to the universe and connected as well. So what about you guys? What is your definition of spirituality, and how do you feel closest to the universe? What is the, or whatever you want to call it? Is it through a creative process? Does that do it for you? Or is it more of a reflective on your own moment where you're not doing anything, or meditating, or whatever? I'd be interested to know. What is spirituality for you, and where do you feel most spiritual? Alice is watching, says Alice. Hello, Alice. How are you doing? Nice to have you here. Hope you're doing okay. Alice, what is spirituality for you? She just joined. Bam! The big questions. What is spirituality for you? And Alice, where do you feel most closest to your definition of spiritual? Is it when you're creating stuff, or is it when you're on somewhere where you've removed yourself from the hubbub of everyday life and you're maybe communing with nature, or in a church, or I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. I'd love to know. So that was, I'll look at your thing in a minute, Michelle. You've just kindly posted it in Today's Today. So I'm just going to refresh Today's Today, because otherwise that's not it. There it is. Bring it over here. Zip. And all right. Yeah. So I'll just go through this one. And the inspirational share, this section 2 is the inspirational share and call to action. It's where I try to inspire you with something I've done. It's also an excuse to share my stuff. And I call you to action, to you to create something in your turn. I do my bit, you do your bit. That's part of the game. That's why you're in the Crazy Creativity Clan, as I call it. When you get my newsletter, you join Infinite Creativity Now group. You're part of this universe, which I'm in, you're in. And part of that is creating. Okay, I want people to create, not just sit there and watch, not to be observers or voyeurs. I want you to be creating with me, because I want to get your stuff, you see. I want to see what you're creating and get inspired by that. So this is my bit. I create stuff and I put it here. Your bit is to create stuff and put it here, for example. Not just in my group, though. Put it on your pages, your groups, share it with your friends. You will get reactions. It's a beautiful circle that goes round and round. So that was, no, yes, that was it. No, that's not it. So this is a meme in my Crazy Creative series. I spurred myself on. I said 81 days before my birthday, which was yesterday. I don't know if you know, but it was my birthday yesterday. Not many people know that, but yeah, it was. I'm 55. And this was the meme that I put up on that day. Am I talking rubbish? Yeah, this was the day before. What am I doing? Anyway, it just says, looking for ideas is the pastime of the futile few. Stop looking, but keep your eyes open. The ideas will find you. And I don't know if you noticed, but I decided that every single meme in this 81 meme series was going to rhyme. Excruciatingly bad or not, as they may be, that's what I decided. Looking for ideas is the pastime of the futile few. Stop looking, but keep your eyes open. The ideas will find you. What I mean by that? I mean, I'm not saying that you're a futile person if you'll spend your time looking for ideas. What I mean is looking for cool ideas isn't necessarily going to give you cool ideas. And it might even stop them from coming, the really good ones, because the really good ones seem to come from somewhere else. And not when you're looking for, you know, when you're trying to remember someone's name and you killed it. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my God. Oh, tearing your hair out, I was going to say, but that's a bit more difficult for me. And then you stop thinking about it and bam, the name comes. So that's what I mean by stop looking for ideas, but keep your eyes open. In other words, you're there. It's like when, you know, you don't know when the door's going to open, the door to inspiration, the door to something wonderful. But if you're not at the door, maybe knocking on it, then when it does open, you won't see what the opportunity is. So it's kind of that. Keep looking. And the ideas will find you. Of course they do. They always do. Alice is saying, closest to nature, quiet and beautiful. So this is, I asked what spirituality is for you and where you feel most that. And Alice says closest to nature, quiet and beautiful. Yeah. There's a particular type of nature, like in a wood or in a park or in the sea, maybe. And Michelle says, at peace in nature, writing. And when I am connecting with people, I am just in the flow. At peace in nature, writing. So do you write in nature and that gives you peace? Is it all one kind of beautiful moment, or are these different ways in which you feel creative or spiritual? When I'm connecting with people, I'm just in the flow. Yeah. Yeah, connecting is so wonderful, isn't it? Chris says, there are times when I am so into working on something that I get in a zone. Never really thought of that as being spiritual before. Well, yeah, maybe you've either never thought of what being spiritual is, or you've never wondered if that was actually a spiritual moment. It's not for me to say, but I know that it's when you get in the zone and you start doing something, especially something with your hands, or you're thinking like you're writing, there's this moment when timelessness arrives, or time disappears. And that for me is a beautiful thing. But the funny thing is, you often only realize that happened when you snap out of it. You realize you were in it when you suddenly realize, oh wow. Anyway, oh yeah, I've got to go and get the kids, or something like that. And you realize you were in the zone. But it's very difficult to spot the moment when you go into the zone, because by definition you lose sense of time and you get absorbed in something. It's like daydreaming. When you're looking out of the window, like when you're in a class at school, for example, and you go off into a daydream, you don't realize you went into a daydream. What you realize is the teacher say, oh, hello, Earth to the moon, or, you know, Earth to Sab. Then you realize you went off into one. But that's a wonderful place to be. And I think it's a great, yeah. So Despina says, being raised in a more strict Christian environment, I don't like this word at all. It evokes God and sins and what we are not supposed to do to join God in his second coming. Being connected to nature is appealing as spirituality. In some cases, I think organized religion has hijacked a lot of really beautiful things, such as morals and maybe feeling close to nature. They suddenly put labels on it and said, you're not doing it right. You know, you've got to come with us. We'll show you how to do it right. And that's why I never really fell into any particular belief system. So yeah, I've always, in my earlier days, when I was thinking, you know, if I believe in something or not, I liked ideas where they considered just the earth or Mother Nature to be a kind of God or something. And I don't think I've drifted too far from that idea. It's just that I don't really pursue it. I don't like putting labels on things anymore. But some of those ways of looking at things where they really believe that Mother Earth and all that sort of thing, it probably isn't right either. But I think it's a nicer way of looking at things than following, you know, man-written rules and all the rest of it. Anyway, that's a big subject, I guess. Yoruska says, I really like the blue pieces. What material is it? This bit here, yeah, I've been on this picture for a while. These bits here, It's iron. I think it's iron. Fair. And here it's pretty clean. I think they're reasonably new. Having said that, it's not that blue in real life. It's grey. It was the colours that I played with. I have to show you the one of these that I found, which made my day. I'm going to see if I can find it. Stay with me. I'm going to look in my studio. Found it. So these are in my bag of tricks here. So this is actually part of the old Parisian railway that goes around Paris. It's not used anymore. And wait a second, it's not here. Yes, it is. And this is going to be in my paintings. So if you acquire, I've got my star piece here. If you acquire a painting from me, from now on, you can look at it and it will have, yeah, this is the best one. It will, from now on, it will have a sliver of this. This is part of a sleeper from the old Paris railway. So if you acquire a painting of mine from now on, it will have a sliver of this in it, you see? You see, it's like a... Never wants to focus, this thing. You see, it's actually slivers. And I'll put these in my paintings, and you'll have a little piece, a real piece of Parisian history. And then these nail things are modern, I mean, cleaner versions of, you ready for it? Dunno. This. I mean, this would kill someone if you hit them with it, right? It's metal. It's solid, heavy metal. And look at the end of it. It's so eroded. It looks like this. Look. How cool is that? And that, if you look at this bit though, you see there and there, it's this. It's the same thing as these blue things in the painting. You see, it's square. It probably had a number on before. This used to be round. Amazing, yeah? So I'm going to do something artistic with this. I'm going to paint it, but leave a little strips of it in the original sort of rusty color. So I'm so excited about that. That's going to be fun. Okay, so I was on the newsletter. That one on Saturday's one, actually. No, I won't talk about that. I'll talk about that later. All right, so that was the end of the newsletter for that one. And here's the call to, no, I'll read what I said so you know how it works. Inspirational share. Trying to catch up on my 81 crazy creative memes before my birthday in 5 days, because it was my birthday yesterday. I don't know if you know. I'm on about number 22. Think I'll make it. So number 22. I'm supposed to do 81 of them before my birthday, and that was in a couple of days. So I didn't make it, but at least the project exists. That's the main thing. If you don't start something, then nothing will happen. It doesn't matter if you don't finish it, as long as you wanted to start it and you did start it. The call to action is in every newsletter. It says this meme suggests that ideas are all around us. If we'd only stop trying so hard to find them and make space to let them in. And the call to action is share a cool idea you've had recently in today's Infinite Creativity Now thread. So there's a thread that goes with this, which is here. And you go there, you just click, you literally click on the link here and you go to it and you contribute. I want you to contribute all the time. This is the Infinite Creativity SABSANG, and I am here to inspire you to create and produce stuff. If you don't like that, you're not in the right place. And I'm going to get your thing, Michelle, don't worry. And Alice says, when I think about where, I see myself in the mountains of California. I don't know the states, Alice. Still waiting for the invitation. Or anywhere on a beach looking out at the water, or being in a boat on the water. Yeah. There's something about the natural elements. It could be mountains, the weather. I love rain. I love thunderstorms. The sea. A lot of people love the sea, the smell of the sea, the wind, the waves. It's a funny comparison. I used to go to Barcelona a lot because my son's other family are there. And I compared Barcelona to his mother. My son's mother preferred Barcelona, and I preferred Paris. So for me, Paris, it has water, has to have water. But across the Seine is more Paris. You know, I love Paris. So, oh, great. You know, you've got Paris backdropping the Seine from the other side of the River Seine. And you've got the islands and stuff. It's so great. But I think it was she loved the sea because you've got Barcelona and then you've got the sea. So it's like land and no land. In Paris, it's land, the river, and more land. So there's two ways of looking at it. In Barcelona, you're looking out to the big way, yonder. Well, I'm not sure there's another word that goes with that. I can't think of what it is. The vast yonder. And you can imagine all sorts of things, you know, limitless horizons and stuff. Whereas in Paris, you can't do that. There's more down Paris and on the other side of the river. So anyway, I'm going to go to today's the day. Oh, God, what am I doing there? What's that? That's infinite creativity now. It says people want to join the group. Some people, they get recommended by people, but the thing is then they haven't answered the question that I asked them to do, which is write a sentence beginning with today's the day. So I can see that they actually know what the idea of the group is and agree with the rules. And if you just invite people, you as a member, invite other people, sometimes they don't even know they've been invited. And when they do get joined by me, if I accept them, they think, where am I? When they suddenly get these messages. So if you want, please invite people to join this group, but go to the homepage, send them to the homepage and get them to click join. And then they see what the group's about and they see the instructions and stuff. So Michelle is finally here. You thought it would never happen. They said it would never happen. Unashamedly Michelle. So Michelle said she writes things called Unashamedly Michelle. It says, I think it's a new series of hers. And well, I don't know too much about it. Let's see what she says, shall we? Just wondering if I can blow this up a little bit or not, because it might be very small for you guys. Oh, hang on, I can do that to start with. And I can do this. So you can read along a SAB. Is it getting bigger for you? Unashamedly Michelle. Over the last few days, I have been listening to Sid Banks' Long Beach lectures. Nothing earth-shattering happened during those times, although the keep it simple message was coming through loud and clear. So Sid Banks is, he's a Scot actually, like me, and I don't have the accent. And he had a nice way of looking at life, the universe and everything, which is these days it's known as the 3 principles, which you can look into if you like. I felt fine this morning. A lot of it's to do with having insights, having deep insights about life and realizing that our experience comes from inside ourselves, looking out, sort of projecting our reality out there, not being affected by everything coming in, which I kind of mentioned earlier. I felt fine this morning. Then I noticed that the should, ought to, must do, have to critter came into town. I knocked the voice critter that was whispering in my ear off my shoulder and moved on. Then I noticed a tightness in my chest, a feeling of being really uncomfortable. I was physically shaking. I realized that anxiety had crept in. I did some cleaning because I was finding it hard to sit still. I started to inquire about what was going on. Several insights then came one after the other. Doing gives me a sense of control. That's interesting. What is it I feel I need to control? Guilt for not doing anything? Really, where does that come from? You aren't working at the moment, so you should be doing something. Okay, thank you. What is that? What is it about not working that's an issue? It's your fault you are ill because you worked too hard for too long. You damaged your own body and messed up your mind. Thank you. Is that really true? No. What is true then? I need to forgive myself. I was doing the best I could do at the time. It was all done in pure innocence. Thank you. What's the feeling of need to clean about? My mind is getting better. There's no need to hang on to this rubbish anymore. It's time to start cleaning up my environment, just like I am cleaning up my mind. Thank you. What's the last bit of anxiety about? There are 2 things that need to be done today, and you are avoiding them. Thank you. What is it about those things that I want to avoid? They have deadlines attached to them. You know what the stress of deadlines does to you. You'll have another breakdown. You need to run and run fast. That's interesting. Thank you. Wait a minute. Are those things difficult to do? They are massive. They will take you a long time and you have to finish them today. Right. Is that true? No. The email is quick to do and the coursework can be done today and tomorrow. No one is going to hurt you for spreading the workload over 2 days so that you can pace yourself. So that was a really interesting conversation between Michelle and Michelle, or one sort of Michelle and another type of Michelle, where she was saying thank you every time she received this little message from the conversation she was having in her head. And I like that because there's often a tendency, especially in sort of self-helpy type circles, to want to improve ourselves. We start thinking we've got these problems, and then the idea is you get rid of them, such as getting rid of negative thoughts is a classic. Or you know, transforming negative feelings into positive feelings, as though we could happily exist. We'd be happy finally if we only had positive feelings, or if we only had happy thoughts, then we'd be happy. So every time a negative thought comes along, you know, let's kill it in the bud. Let's get a nail from the Paris ring road, and every time a negative thought comes along, bam, get out of there. Whereas I much prefer the idea that anything that comes up is part of us for a start. You know, would you want to chop off? I like these 4 fingers, but this one pisses me off. Give me the axe, please. You know, I don't like its shape, or you know, I like this eye, but this one's a bit got a strange little bit of some strange color in it. Let's dig it out. It's silly, isn't it? And I think feelings and emotions and thoughts are like that. If they come along, theoretically, they're there for a reason. They're part of us. And I think it's pretty healthy to think, okay, what's this about? And I like the idea that our emotions are information for us to help us. I mean, we've got this system going on, which seems to want to move and talk and have ideas. That seems to be part of what it's about. Do we then want to twist things around and not like it, not like what we are? That seems a bit pointless. So when an emotion comes up, it seems to have a positive intention. It seems to have come up because it's got something to tell us. And I don't really agree with the idea that there are positive emotions and negative emotions. There may be emotions which feel better than others, which feel not so nice or feel really horrible. But that doesn't mean they're there to hurt us. It could mean they're there to help us even more than the positive ones. The positive emotions tend to just basically say, this is nice, let's carry on doing this. Which, to be honest, it might be okay, but it might not necessarily help us grow. But the so-called negative ones, the ones that hurt, are probably the most valuable, because they say, there's something which isn't right here. There's some sort of problem here. I'd like you to consider changing something or looking at something in a different way. That's why. And the more powerful the emotions are, which often comes across as more painful, maybe the more urgent it is to do something about it. Maybe. Or at least to recognize it, not to hide it under the carpet, you know, brush it away, put it down the back of the sofa, because that's not going to help, is it? If it's recognized, as Michelle did, every time there was some information, she said thank you, and then she asked for more information. And after the information she got, which was like probably overreacting, she said, thank you, can you tell me more about that? Then she got something which was much more helpful, because she hadn't killed the initial sort of panic signal. And then she got really good information. So this is really great stuff, Michelle. It's like self-therapy by writing, which is often what writing is, isn't it? And painting and all the rest of it. It's like self-therapy. So she carries on. What have been the most important lessons to come out of this? There are 3. One is, I am good enough. 2, I am unstuck. I can now start to make my physical environment match my mental state. That's really great, isn't it? This idea to clean was actually as much about cleaning inside as out. That's really great. And So I am unstuck. I can now start to make my physical environment match my mental state, which is no longer a place of chaos. 3, planning to do the coursework over 2 days would prevent this feeling of overwhelm from happening in this situation again. I forgive myself. I am good enough. No one is going to hurt me. I forgive myself. I am good enough. No one is going to hurt me. Thank you, 𝗏𝗡𝗡𝗏. Bless you. So that sounds like a really, really great initiative, Michelle. I fully encourage you to keep going with that. And I've probably got a few comments now as well. Okay, I've seen those. Alice says, I need to take myself there mentally more these days, as recent days have not been great. Yeah, a mental place to go to the mountains is nice. Yaruska says, okay. That was the information I gave about the blue things. It's a magical wand, a magic wand. Well, yeah, it's not a very delicate one. You'd have to, Chris would have to have, was it Chris or Karen? Who was it that was painting fairy doors or something? You'd have to have like a fairy in hobnail boots to have that one, I think. I want a painting with that blue piece. Ah, do you? Except it's not blue, honestly. It's, you know, this isn't blue. It's, I'm not giving this away, by the way. That's going to stay with me probably for the rest of my days. Michelle says, I'm at peace pretty much everywhere these days, in particular when I am in nature. I haven't written in nature yet. Good idea. That's exactly it. Every emotion has a message. The so-called negative emotions are gifts. That's what I think emotions are. They're information for us, to help us. As soon as you look on them that way, they can seem less painful. The painful ones can seem less painful. And we can even be happy to receive them. Because imagine if we weren't getting any emotions at all. You know, is that what we're saying when we're trying to get rid of certain types of emotions? Well, why not get rid of all of them? No, just give me the good ones. No, it doesn't work like that. So, you know, can you imagine not having any emotions? You'd be a robot. Good night, Sab. Lovely listening to you as always. Yeah, good night, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and lovely having you here as always. That's my beautiful poet friend who writes poems for me sometimes. She wrote a poem for me that I was too embarrassed to read yesterday on my Today's the Day show. Oh, thank you. That means so much. I have had a couple of people tell me not to go down a route of self-inquiry. Did you listen to them? It doesn't sound like you did, actually. Why would they tell you that? Self-inquiry is possibly the noblest, most enriching, worthwhile thing to do in life, I think. So I think self-inquiry is great. It's asking questions, inquiry. It's not looking for answers necessarily. It could be looking for answers, but just the act of inquiring means you have an open mind, asking questions. You're not closed. That brings a lot of really good stuff. Right, I'm just going to carry on with this. And so Tremendous Tuesday was. So do feel free to come and go when you want. There's no, you know, it's not school here. You can come and go when you want, pop in. If something interests you, leave a message, say hello. Could be not to do with anything here. It could be something else. And I'll just carry on for a while and see what happens. Michelle says, no, I didn't listen. Yeah, I mean, should we listen to people who give us advice or not? Well, in coaching, giving advice isn't coaching. Because the idea is that we have the answers to our own questions inside us, and they're not anywhere else. No one else has our answers. So, yeah, I mean, people giving advice, it's good to ask people what they think, I think. But, you know, then we come to our own conclusions. I think it's great to have lots of other people's opinions. It's interesting. It's human communication, isn't it? Interaction. But to actually think that someone else has answers for your problems is probably going a bit too far. They might have possibilities, but then you have to choose which of those people to listen to, and that's you. And often you follow somebody else's advice and you realize it wasn't the right one for you. But, you know, human interaction is what it's all about. So we should definitely be interacting with others. I think that's part of that's what life is. So here is, what's this? Where am I? I'm getting lost in my own creative nightmare. So this was Tuesday. I don't believe in creative blocks. Let's see what you think of this. Any comments, questions about creative blocks? Here we go. This was Tuesday's theme. I don't believe in creative blocks. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean I can't be experiencing one. In fact, I think I'm in the depths of one right now. I have a fantastic artistic project called the Infinity Squared Connective. The concept is complete. I have clients. I have all the materials and the time, but I can't start. Day after day, I do anything but move forward, even though it's very straightforward to do. I'm sharing this in case you have something similar. And also to push myself to start. I'd love to tell you next week that I've made great progress. I'll tell you in a second. I will start and I will make progress. The steps are incredibly simple. It's just that the artistic process is, well, art, not science. Emotions may be involved. Uh-oh. Art will come when it's ready, and I'll be here when it does. That goes back to my thing about knocking on the door. You know, if you're knocking on the door, you're standing in front of the door, then when it opens, you're there. But if you're not in front of the door, you don't know when it's going to open. But if you're not in front of the door, then you won't know when it opens. So I'm ready, I'm waiting. And of course, through pushing myself and putting my needs to start, my frustration out there through these letters, I started the project. The inspirational share was this, me trying to inspire myself. It was showing a new mug, which possibly inspired the crashing of this one, which I've told this story a few times. I think I'm definitely getting to the end of telling you this story, but I'll very, very quickly share it with you once again. The person who gave me this mug you can see in the photograph then lent me her kitten for a week to look after. And the first thing the kitten did when she came to my place was smash my mug. So weird, but you know, karma, whatever. It's kind of fun. Oh, a fly has just landed in my current mug, and I'm not that much of it. Well, I didn't kill it actually. The coffee killed it. So that was that. And the action call was, think of something you have been putting off for forever and take one tiny step towards starting, or just start. I'm the creativity guy. I don't like labels, but if anyone had to give me one, that's the one I'd like. You're here to be creative. Don't expect me to not tell you to be creative, because I will. And if you want to be told to be creative and encouraged in any way possible, this is the place to be. Be creative. Be creative. I think creativity, creating on a regular basis, is a wonderful way to lead a fulfilling, enriching, and generous life. So and like I said earlier, I get as close to spirituality as I can find when I'm creating stuff. And of course, when you create, that's half the story. You got to do something with it, like share it, give it to people, give them pleasure. So create, create, create. I'll tell you it again. Think of something you have been putting off for forever and take one tiny step towards starting, or just start. Okay. So Despina said good night. I think that means so much. No, I didn't listen. She didn't listen to people telling her not to go down a route of self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is one of the best things you can possibly do, I think. They thought I was going to go down a black hole, but I don't see it like that. I came at it from a place of gratitude. Well, do we have a choice about self-inquiry? I mean, if we sort of are responsible for our own existence, the self-inquiry might bring you back to a very, very simple state, which is even much simpler than before you started the inquiry. But you didn't realize it. Then you were in the sort of frustrated stage or the innocent stage, not even knowing that you didn't know anything, just leading your life, which is quite a nice stage to be in. And then all of the stuff comes along, society and all the rest of it. All these things happen. You realize a lot of them later have been imposed on you. You've been given labels which don't really fit. You get dissatisfied. Sometimes you get very dissatisfied. You deal with that in many ways, many of which are often very destructive. And at some point, if you're lucky, you think, I've had enough of this and I'm going to try and work out what's going on. And that's self-inquiry. You start trying to work it out. It can involve talking to other people, can involve choosing systems or methods by which you think things will get clearer. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But in the end, you come back to a very, very simple way of looking at life, which is often very similar to how you looked at life before you started having all the problems, before all this shit was, heaped on you. You realize that you come back to the beginning, but you had to go through the self-inquiry to reach that. So, I mean, if you've got very, very deep problems, maybe it's not always wise to launch into some heavy stuff, but maybe it is. Maybe it is wise. Maybe that's the only thing that can finally get you out. You can't always do it alone. Sometimes you need help at first or along the way. But yeah, self-inquiry. There isn't anything else to inquire into, to be honest. There's only the self, isn't there? What the hell we're doing here, who we are. And if you start to get a nice feeling about the answers to those questions, then that's pretty cool, I think. So yeah, so that was that. And I will go on to the next one, chugging through this. Thank you for being here, everyone. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being here too. You can still leave comments. I'll still see them. And I'm going on to Wednesday, Wondrous Wednesday. You see how creative I am? It's Marvelous Monday, Tremendous Tuesday, Wondrous Wednesday, squeezing a third syllable out of it, Thunderous Thursday, Fabulous Friday, Stupendous Saturday, and Sabulous Sunday. Today is Sabulous Sunday. Yes, yes it is. Now that was Wednesday. Right, let me get rid of this one. All right, so Wednesday was, be like my friend's tomatoes. Can I tell you about my friend's tomatoes? Can I? Right, thanks, Michelle. Bring on your comments all the time. Comments are very welcome. Okay, so my friend's tomatoes told me this. She went away for a few days. This is the kitten mug killer. She went away for a few days and they were green. She came back and they were bright red. A miracle. It's even bigger. No, yeah, it's not big, is it? There we go. And they were bright red. A miracle. Except not really, because given the right conditions, water, soil, sun, a little attention, that's what tomatoes do. They turn from green to red. They don't need us to do that. Given the right conditions, ideas, inspiration, motivation, encouragement, support. These are all sort of parallels to the water, the soil, the sun, a little attention. We humans will also produce wonders. Our tomatoes will turn red, except it's not tomatoes that we produce. So what do we produce? If we're given the right conditions, what do we automatically produce? We don't have a choice. Plants don't have a choice. They can only produce tomatoes. What do we not have a choice to produce given the right conditions? Good question. Well, how do I finish this? Because that's what we are made to do. We produce wonders. Because that's what we are made to do, not sit on our backsides eating ice cream and watching Netflix all day. Who do you think I'm trying to inspire that? We are born to create. It's our natural state. The thing with us is tomato plants produce tomatoes, apple trees produce apples. We seem to have been given a wider scope to the extent that when we create stuff, we don't even know what we're going to create. Can you imagine how amazing that is? Imagine a plant which has the power to produce any food that grows on plants at all. Can you imagine? We seem to have that as humans. We can almost have free reign. The thing that we produce is stuff. We create stuff. We have the ability to produce things that didn't exist before. For example, this was created by a human. 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 Our fruit is an infinite number of times more varied than a tomato plant. I'm not criticizing tomato plants. Tomato plants are wonderful. I had them today, those tomatoes that turned red. And I was very happy that tomato plant knows how to produce perfect ripe tomatoes. But our thing seems to be infinitely richer. So do we use it? Do we use this ability to produce our fruit, apart from kids. You know, you could say kids are our fruit as well, but we seem to have gone to this different level where we have the ability to produce things which aren't directly linked to prolonging the species, the existence of the species, like our own kids. You know, we can produce computers and mice, computer mice and mugs and spoons and playing cards and, you know, postcards and art. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. So we spend most of that potential sitting on a sofa, stuffing our faces with chips and ice cream and watching Netflix. Nice one, humans. Cool. So I was talking to myself there. I've spent a lot of time recently eating crisps and eating ice cream and watching Netflix. But at least I'm aware of it. At least I'm not, you know, I say at least, I don't want to criticize anyone here, you know, but I don't want that to be a major part of my life. I do want it to be a small part of my life, though. Because when you create stuff, it's a mixture of what we've been exposed to in our lives and some sort of magic source. Boom, out comes something new. So I love some series on Netflix, but that can't be all I do, you know. I love eating ice cream, but that can't be all I eat. That doesn't work. So there you go. That's my thought. I was quite pleased with that thought. I think it was quite a good one. So this is my inspirational share. Again, let me know, everyone, anything, a question or a comment comes up from anything I'm sharing here, please put it in the chat, because otherwise I'm talking to myself. You see how it goes back and forth? It's been wonderful so far. An hour just going back and forth between my creations and yours. It's so good. So my inspirational share was, I have no doubt, sometimes it's linked to part one and sometimes it's not. I have no doubt that there are enough crazy, amazing, life-changing ideas out there for any number of folks like us, but we have to be open to them. We don't know when the crack of opportunity will come, but if we're not looking at the wall, we won't notice when it does. This is very similar to the other one. The muse comes when she's ready to come. So when she comes, be ready. That was me trying to be more concise, less wordy, and more profound. The muse comes when she's ready to come. So when she comes, be ready. Don't be sitting on the sofa eating Netflix and watching ice cream. Action call. How do you open yourself? I invite you to comment on any of these action calls or to actually do them. All you have to do is click on the link in the newsletter, and it takes you to the thread in the Infinite Creativity Now group where you can share your stuff. You see, it's a beautifully thought out system. If you don't get the newsletter, sorry, you know, I repeat this just every few seconds every week, because, you know, some people won't get this. So go to infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter and get the newsletter, and then you'll join the group and you do it. Okay, infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. Okay, so yeah, there's that one. And my call to action was, how do you open yourself up to the wonderful, limitless possibilities that are all around us? Share in today's Infinite Creativity Now group thread. Now, I put a little bit too many nows there. All right, moving on to the next one, which is Thunderous Thursday. What's it going to be? You see, this is an adventure for me too, because I've forgotten this. I don't know about you, but as soon as I've created something and I've let go of it, I've let it fly of its own wings, I move on to something else. It's a bit like when you paint or take a photograph or write a poem. I don't know if you've noticed this. Once it's gone, you let it go. And then you suddenly stumble upon it later. It's like seeing it through different eyes. That's why when I write something, I try my best to put it away for the evening and come back to it the next day before publishing. I have an incredibly short attention span and patience span. Once I've done it, I want to get it out there, get rid of it in a way, to leave space for something new. But the problem is, I mean, the great thing is, let's make it positive. The great thing is, when you leave it, at least overnight, and you come back, you see the spelling mistakes, you see the crappy use of adjectives, using the same word twice. I'm talking about writing. You see that you could have had a better metaphor. You can see you've said the same thing twice. Did I just say that twice? And a new idea will come. A new idea almost always comes to make it better. And that doesn't happen if you don't give it that space, the space between creative bouts on the same thing. Why am I saying that? I don't know. Yeah, so coming back to these a week later or a few days later, I'm seeing it like a new person looking at my own stuff. It's like it's new for me because I can't remember what Thunderous Thursday was, haven't got a clue. So I'm going to discover it with you. One project wonder. You've read the self-help books. You've done the time management courses. You've listened to the productivity gurus. Is this you? Do one thing until it's finished, they say. That's how you'll finish that thing. Then go on to the next thing. I love this idea. It's so simple, so logical, so obvious. So do I do it? In the past, no. These days, more so. The thing is, when you're working on 10 projects at the same time, you're not serving anyone. But when you finish just one project, one little project, any project, then and only then can you start to serve lots of people. I'm not saying I stick religiously to a single thing for very long. That's too much for me. But on the odd occasion when I do, it gets done. And that feels good. That's what I'm saying. It feels good. And you can help people. You know, people aren't going to buy a half-baked or half-finished product or idea. But if the thing exists, then they've got something to get into your universe with. You can help them. So that's what I'm working on that myself all the time. It's one of my major difficulties, is not dispersing my efforts. But the times when I do focus on something long enough to actually finish it, it's such a great feeling. I got a comment from Michelle saying, thank you, Sab. Really enjoyed this. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome, Michelle. That's what it's for. Okay, this is, I'm on Thursday here. So when I get to Friday, that'll be the last one and we'll say good night. So the inspirational sharing and call to action was this meme. If you don't paint some color on your walls, who will? This is the only one that doesn't rhyme. If you don't paint some color on your walls, who will? Again, the meme doesn't necessarily go with the words. I'm not sure. So many people sit around waiting for something good to happen, or just sit there without hope of anything much at all. How's that working out for them? Ask Netflix. They'd love you to sit around doing nothing. But when I look at the shows, I think those actors and the people who produced the show, they weren't sitting on their backsides. They were producing, they were creating. I want to be like them more often than I am like me sitting watching them. At least I want to be more than 50% creating stuff. It doesn't even matter if it's 49% consuming and 51% creating, but that's my kind of gauge. And in reality, I think it's far closer towards 100% creating. I don't want it to be 100% creating. You have to appreciate other people's creations. Of course you do. But I don't want it to be less than 50%. That's me. Just don't make creating 0%. That's all I'm saying. Action call. Change your world in some way today. Change it. Paint a masterpiece or stick this meme on your fridge. It doesn't matter, but change does. Get used to it. Welcome it. Instigate it. Share here and get the full-sized meme too in the group. So if you go to the group, don't copy this meme. If you like the memes, don't copy it here. Go to the group, click on the thing here. You go to the group, you get the full size. Well, it's not full size, but it's much bigger. And if you want to copy it and paste it somewhere, then use the one in the group, not this one. Okay, and the last one, Friday. Fabulous Friday. Read it now. How are you doing, everyone? You doing okay? Enjoying the show? I'm enjoying your comments so much. I can't believe how great it is to have all your comments. So this was Fridays. Starting seems to be the hardest thing. I'm still on this theme, you see. There's a lot of personal stuff in here. I'm struggling to get going on an artistic project, but the pressure is increasing. This is the second time in a few days I'm mentioning this. That means a fuse is about to blow. And when it does, all creative hell will break loose. I know this from experience. It may be today or tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I'm confident it will happen. And when it needs to happen, I'm in the calm before the storm, and this incubation period is necessary. I'm trusting the process, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Things are happening. This incubation period is a bit like Michelle talking about self-inquiry. You're working on things. Sometimes that involves doing nothing, but not worrying too much about it. But at least you know that you're in the pathway forward. You're not stuck. You're not doing nothing. Without this mounting tension, there would be nothing to let loose. I can feel it now. I'm almost at breaking point. This is about my paintings. That it's driving me nuts that I'm not on them. But I need that. I need that passion, that being driven nuts, so that when I finally start on them, there's a lot of pent up emotion and stuff that is going to go into those paintings, and I'm going to do them with passion. And when the creative forces finally do explode into action, stopping will be the hardest thing. I started this piece with starting seems to be the hardest thing. But you know what? It's not starting or stopping, it's change. When starting seems to be the hardest thing, you don't want to stop doing what you're doing in order to start something else. You're resisting the change. But it works both ways. If you're in the flow and you're doing something amazing and artistic, you don't want to stop because you don't want to change. So the thing is to get into action as often as possible. And that's great because you won't want to stop. As soon as you're doing the passion, the thing you claim you want to do, as soon as you can get over that hurdle for starting, bam, you won't want to stop. But it kind of works both ways. Okay. Alice is saying, have to go. Sab, thank you. Thank you so much for being there, Alice. Lovely to have you. So that was Fridays. And the inspirational sharing and call to action. This is my paintings, believe it or not. This is the state of play, a pile of rubble, raw material, waiting for something to happen. This is pure potential. I swear something will happen over the next few days. Or this newsletter isn't worth the pixels it's written in. Action call. Today, over this coming weekend, take a very hard to start project and make a start on it anyway. However small, however symbolic, share what you started in the Infinite Creativity Now group. So it's another call to action. And I'm happy to report that I have started on this, and I've started gluing the first items, which are pieces of puzzle, pieces of jigsaw onto them, and things have started. Thanks very much to these letters. And I did want to look at another one, at least my photo of the day, if I can find it. Where is it? Not that. Not that. Yeah, it's this. I have to make this smaller. I wanted to show you my photo of the day from yesterday, which was my birthday, actually. I don't know if you know, but it was my birthday yesterday, 55 today, yesterday. And the 5-5, the big 5-5. And it was a photograph I really like. It was this one here. This is the photograph. And Chris posted an amazing photograph, which was practically the same. I couldn't believe it. I hope I can find it. So there's this, and this was me on my way to Montmartre. It's down below at one of the metro stations. The creepy, spooky Guimard. It says Hector Guimard Arche here. So this is the Art Nouveau metro things, which Paris is very famous for. And this sort of looming red light, as I said yesterday in the Today's the Day show, it looks a bit like an eye, a horrible alien eye. Almost reminds you of War of the Worlds or something. And this bird, doesn't that just make the photograph? This bird being 100%, 200% bird-like, exactly where I wanted it to. And the text was this. The text was a poem, actually. I'll read it. Furthermore, from the height of my 15 pristine years, life slipping away like the drifting senborn leaves, as the wispish wind of my shadow steps bereaves, the city of light breathes dark sighs past old ears. You might want to read it a couple of times to try and get any sense out of it, as often happens. And it's not negative at all, talking about life slipping away, but I'm perfectly happy with where I am. And that's good because I don't have a choice. And Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. 𝗬𝗢𝗘𝗜 is saying it is your new project in paintings. Yeah, it's my new projects, and I'm going to be incorporating all sorts of things into the paintings, including a little snippet of the cards and little bits of the Paris railway, the old Paris railway. And Karen says, "Hi, Sab, just got home." Oh, don't know if you're starting, finishing, or replaying. I'm not replaying, but then I will say that in the replay too. If you're watching now, oh God, it doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, if you're watching now, then you're watching, because you just said you've just written this comment. So if you're watching now, this isn't a replay. But if you watch it again, it will be. So Karen, I talked about you, but I can't remember what I said. So you're gonna have to go back and watch the early bit. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be on for a few more minutes now, and then I'll say bye-bye. And so that was my birthday meme, because it was my birthday yesterday. I don't know if you know that, but I put this, I don't normally do birthdays, and I decided to kind of play on it this year, because I'm very sort of humble. I don't like to talk about it. But this year I thought, well, look, if 2020 is going to be a good year, not a year to write off, let's see what happens if we get excited about something. And I use the excuse for birthdays to get people posting in the Today's the Day group. If you're a member of the Today's the Day group, the idea is that up to once a day, you put a new post. It starts Today the Day, and you say something great you want to remember the day for. And a lot of people aren't doing it. So I kicked their butts and said, today for my birthday present, I want you to write a Today's the Day in the Today's the Day group. And lo and behold, lots of people did. Fantastic. So this was Friday, and yeah, there it is. And I might just have a quick look in the group, which is intimately linked with my newsletter, which is called Infinite Creativity Now. Just look for a couple of, that's my post. Look for 2 or 3 things that people have contributed and just, highlight them. It's very easy. You get the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter, which you do here at infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. And then I've lost where I was now. And then you read the ninja tips, which come with the newsletter, and you take daily action. That's me. Hello. I talked a lot about Kirsten at the beginning of the show, loving her stuff. Karen, I talked about this. Yeah, I said how really cool this was, really like it a lot. And it reminded us of some people said in the comments, it reminds us of the sort of innocent Winnie the Pooh drawings. That's me. So there's a few from Kirsten. She's very active, wonderful to have her. And you can be just as active if you like. She said she did this from blind. Can you imagine a blind portrait? You cover your eyes and you draw, and then you color it in. I think when you color it in, you can see, but you draw it blind. Amazing. And she did another one somewhere, and I just couldn't believe that this one, she said, was done blind. How could you draw this? I mean, okay, the eyes are crazy different sizes, but it's like drawing paintings in the kids' style. You have to be good to be able to do it. So that's just amazing. Love it. Her blind paintings are a lot more realistic than my trying my hardest, which is why I do abstract. Okay, let's see what else there is here. Yeah, there's another wonderful one from Kirsten. Take time to marvel at the wonders of life. She's got this brilliant style. I love it. Definitely encouraging her to get these out as a series of postcards or greetings cards or anything really, or an exhibition. Do exhibitions. That was her again. We talked about it. So cool. So she is the main contributor at the moment, as you can see. Other people were contributing in comments and things. But as I said, this this group is getting going. So it's pretty much me and Kirsten at the moment. This was Raya. I was a guest on Raya's show last week, and that's a wonderful creative friend. I think she creates a lot of stuff, but I know her mainly for creating her shows. And I'm going to go into the Today's the Day group to finish off with, because a lot of people contributed some amazing stuff at my wish. So that was Michelle. We looked at her things. Carolina, today's the day I made a meme out of a difficult experience to help us all have hope during hard times. And the first time I posted here. Thank you, Caroline. I'm so happy that you did that. Thank you, Sab, for this space. Okay, let's have a look at this then. When life looks like a tornado, use the opportunity to twirl like a dervish. Okay, that's cool. I can't. Wow, I'm trying to work out. Is that your body that's twirling, a skirt on it? That's pretty amazing. I can't even see your legs. So there you go. I'm hoping it's her in the photograph, because I want the photos to be for memes. I want the image to be original as well, and the words to be original. When life looks like a tornado, use the opportunity to twirl like a dervish. And I guess that's you, Caroline. That's wonderful. Well done. Thank you for contributing. And of course, the idea is it's for you. It's for you to remember special days in your life. Think of your days as little lives. Make each little life, each day, when the sun rises and you're born, when you wake up, to the time when you go to sleep at the end of the day, make that like a little life. And make sure at the end of each day, you can say, that was a good life. That was a good mini life. And I enjoyed it because I did this. That's why it's the Today's the Day group. Today's the day I did this. Maurice contributed and says, today, she forgot the day bit. Today is the season my heart cherishes. So Maurice is very about appreciating every day. And she appreciated this season. And she's saying she appreciates every day, which is beautiful. Ingrid said, today's the day I go to the Abbey to see a dance show. Modern dance in the garden and inside. So peaceful. Modern dance in a church. That must be amazing. Or an abbey. Tracy contributing. Today's the day I took myself out of my office with no windows, bought a little workstation and positioned it right in front of the living room window. Oh, okay. So your office was a little enclosed space and you've moved it into a much more airy space. That's wonderful. With the windows open, the breeze whispering, the light and warmth of the sunshine and the trees and greenery to keep me company, I feel rejuvenated and positively inspired to get on with my work. I haven't replied to her yet. I have to. I wish I'd thought of doing this so much sooner. Happy birthday to you, Seb, because it was my birthday yesterday. I don't know if you know. I was 55. I hope you enjoyed a wonderful day. I did have a wonderful day. Priscilla, today's the day I review the edits for my third book, which is based on my breast cancer experience. Happy birthday. That is so lovely, Priscilla, and I'm so happy that you've contributed that here. And I ask you to continue to let us know how that's going. This is the one I wanted to compare with my picture, and I think I might leave it there. Otherwise, there's 𝗔𝗔𝗘's wonderful picture of a bike. I wanted to compare this to my one. Oh, there's my one, you see. But this is mine. Check this out. This is really weird. That was mine. Chris posts this. Just look at them again. A lamp on the left, the arching metropolitan word name going across, and a word and a bird up there. And look at mine again. How weird is that? It's almost too weird for words. I'm guessing it's not played with. I guess it's a real photograph, but that's just incredible. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And so 𝗔𝗔𝗘 said that she saw the bike. She was thinking of a bicycle. Then she saw a bike, a man selling bikes. She said, a man with a bike. She said, do you sell them? Yes, of course. I've got several in my house. I kept walking and chatting on my cell phone. I looked up and a beautiful pigeon with a brown spot on its chest perched on the eaves of a house looking at me. I said, a good sign. So I went back and bought my bike. Happy birthday. So she saw a sign in a pigeon, bird signs, folks, bird signs, and she went and got her bike. And it's pink. There's no denying it's pink. I don't think anyone can deny that it's pink. Hang on a second. I've got a message here from Chris. Creative leeway, but all my photos. Creative leeway. Are you saying that it's actually not 100% as I think it was? Don't disappoint me here. Did you put the lamp in from somewhere else? You put the bird in from. You're shattering my. I don't want to hear any more of this. No. That it is what it is, and that's all that matters. So there you go. Bird signs giving Yaruska the impetus to buy a bike. Excellent. Any of those replies got pictures? No, maybe not. Okay, so that was my photograph. We've got Dorothy. Dorothy, congratulations, Dorothy. My friend of the day from yesterday, my birthday day. Dorothy took my suggestion that you do an 81-day project leading up to my birthday, which was yesterday, by the way, to heart, and you do something creative for 81 days in a row. Dorothy did it. I think she's the only one that has shown every day what she did. What an achievement. What a fantastic achievement, Dorothy. That's fantastic. You did even better than me. I didn't stick to my own thing. You did. And she posted 81 photos or photo sets 81 days in a row. She finished with number 81 yesterday, which, as it happens, was my birthday. I'm just impressed. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Blossom says she gives herself 10. I should be doing this in the Today's the Day one. I will. I'll do it in next week's Today's the Day show. It's only about Today's the Day. But because so many beautiful people contributed to the Today's the Day birthday event, which was yesterday, I just want to highlight and honor some of them. Blossom, I think it's her first time posting. She gives herself 10 days to finish 2 courses that mean a lot to me, but have been putting off for some reason. That's what the group is for, you see. You commit in the group, and then there's more chance you get it done. I've never really buckled down to doing it. The thing that I'm going to do that will bring joy to me and my family today is to cook a roast dinner and enjoy a cozy movie day with them. Wonderful. This isn't necessarily, this group Today's the Day, it's not necessarily about driving for goals. It's appreciating beautiful moments each day. It can be something very simple like a sunset. But you realize that your days are wonderful. Lydia does these amazing photographs of food from her garden. This came from her garden. Made salad from everything that I grew in my garden. That is wonderful. I wish I had a garden like that. Greg says, today's the day I found myself. That's all. He just found himself. Take note, Michelle. Greg found himself today or yesterday. My path is clear and my heart is whole again. That's good, isn't it? You can't really imagine anything better than that, finding yourself. I looked around and there I was, gone. Kirsten, you know the famous Kirsten from the Infinite Creativity Now group? She says, today's the day I met my old friend, the little umbrella man again. He shines out of himself like you. That's beautiful, isn't it? Shine. Gal says, today the day I made love to the book that want to be birthed in me, that want to be birthed by me. It's exciting and yet scary, as I know it's a deep healing journey for me. Blissful birthday, my dear friend. So I don't know exactly what she meant by made love to her book that wants to be birthed, but I see the image. So I guess it means that she's finally resolved that this is the book that wants to be written and that she's going to write it. And that is fantastic. That's wonderful. And it goes on, you know, there's too many to cover. So I probably won't. I'll probably stop now. And I will go over a lot of these in the Today's the Day show, which is next Friday normally. And call it a day because there's so many of these. Kim, she put it's her daughter singing actually, and her daughter has songs on Spotify, believe it or not. That's fantastic as well. All right, I will call it a day, you know, because that's fine. We've been going on for a long time now, and I bring things back. And I really appreciate everyone who has commented. And Yuruska, maybe we'll finish with Yuruska's comment. I buy the bike to get out of it and not stress about being locked up. Yeah, well, people will definitely notice you, Yuruska, on your beautiful pink bike. Take care. Look after yourself. And yeah, so I'm going to call it a day there. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this. It's been wonderful. A lovely present for my birthday. I kind of look at it as a slightly late birthday present because it was my birthday yesterday. I don't know if you realized. I've got a heart mug, which came from somewhere, mystery donator. So I'm sending you lots and lots of hearts, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you've just joined, I see people coming and going. I think someone's just joined in time for the last minute. But don't worry. Go back to the beginning and you've got another 100 and, I don't know, lots of minutes to enjoy. Lots of creative stuff. The format's working out nicely for this. I go through my 5 creative stuff days from the newsletter, which you can get, I think I've told you, but I'll tell you once more. It's all linked to the newsletter and the Infinite Creativity Now group. This is the place to get inspired about creativity. You want to get inspired. You want to see loads of creative stuff from me and from you. This is the place to be. Get the newsletter, and you get the newsletter by going to infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. You get links to all the shows, every new show that is on. At the moment, I'm doing 4 per week, 4 different themes. One's on photography, one's on writing, one's on the Today's the Day group. That's a private one for the Today's the Day group, although I've just shown you quite a few things from there. And there's this one, which is the biggie. This is the biggie. This is about everything creative and productive. I give you as many ideas as I possibly can and inspiration about being as creative as you would love to be in your life. Creative and productive, not just dreaming about it, doing it too. That's my thing. So yeah, join that, join the mailing list. And if you're interested in photography, I've got a 5-day challenge coming up in the creative photography group. That's free, beginning of September. Kind of leads into this, which is my smartphone masterclass, which is starting again in September. It'll be the last one this year. It's wonderful, lasts for 9 weeks. It's the only photography masterclass I think you will ever need, unless you want to get into a specific specialized aspect of photography. So join me on that if you would like to as well. So that's it, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. It's been such fun. You've made my weekend by being there and all your messages and everything. And I will say bye-bye and see you again very soon. Possibly, if you're into photography, tomorrow. I might have to put it off to Tuesday. I'm not quite sure. But tomorrow, normally on Monday evenings for me, it's my creative photography show. Thursdays, it's my creative writing show. Friday, Today's the Day show. And Sunday, Infinite Creativity SABSANG. Thanks, 𝗖𝗥𝗚𝗏. Thanks everyone that's watched. Thank you for watching now. Please leave comments if you're watching, even if you're watching the replay. So nice to be in touch with you. It's all about creativity and connection. And I'll give you one more thing. One more thing to one more way of getting in touch and being in touch creatively. I can't resist. And this is my Infinity Squared Connective project. And it's a place where through my art, my Infinity Squared art, you can connect with others. And the idea is you adopt a puzzle piece, and these are the puzzle pieces which were up for grabs, but they've been adopted. Each puzzle piece has been adopted now here, but I've got more. So you can still adopt. You can adopt at any time. You will receive a puzzle piece, which is about this big, and you receive an Infinity Squared puzzle pack. And it's wonderful. It's got postcards. It's got puzzles, my puzzle paintings to do. It's got the most important and significant poem of mine ever from Paris, signed, Sab. It's got bookmarks. It's got vouchers. It's got all sorts of things. And it's just a beautiful way to connect with people, strangers around the world. And the website is 𝗖𝗢𝗏.life. I2C, the letter I, the number 2, the letter C, 𝗖𝗢𝗏.life. Okay, folks, that's it for sure, for definite this time. Thank you so much for watching. Without you, this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't exist. So go out there and be creative. And I can't wait to talk to you soon and see your creative stuff. Okay, I want to see your creative stuff coming to me as well as my stuff going out there. Take care and have a lovely week coming up. Bye for now. Love to you all.